Hello, welcome back to my channel, Divine Libra Wisdom. This is going to be the weekly check-in for the week of June 1st, 2026. I don't think I mentioned that in Taurus's reading, but they'll see it on theirs. Anyway, yes, this will be for Cancer, and this will be for the week of June 1st, 2026. Before I get into the reading, I'm going to go ahead and get my disclaimers out of the way. So first things first, if you're new to the channel, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you're returning to the channel, I thank you as well for tuning back in. Either way, if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. That way you know when I drop new videos. Speaking of which, I will be doing a pick-up power reading, and it will be for the blue moon that we're having today. I think it went to its, or I think it started at 4:44 a.m. today, or this morning, but I think it's at its fullness now. And of course, it'll be fuller rather at its peak, I think, by the end of this evening. So, yeah. But yeah, I will talk more about that in the blue moon, but I may mention it, you know, depending on what comes out in the reading. For Cancer, what I was going to say, the decks that I'm using, that will be in the description box below. If you want to book a personal reading with me, you can find that information in the description box as well. I will not reach out to you to solicit you for readings. I don't do that. So don't get got. What else? Yeah, you know, take what resonates. You don't have to, everything doesn't have to fit. You know, this is for a collective. So, you know, if it don't apply, let it fly. Yeah, as you listen along, and as you listen along, make sure you're liking the video, make sure you're leaving a comment, sharing the video out, subscribe, can't emphasize that enough. The background noise, should be kept to a minimum, but you know, if things get too loud, which I doubt it will, but if it does, I will, what am I trying to say? I will pause and wait till the sound or the noise passes and pick right back up. And yeah, you know, if I forgot anything, just, you know, apply it as you would normally. And let's go ahead and get into the reading for Cancer. And now, as far as noise, yeah, if it gets too hot, I'm pretty good right now, but if it gets too hot, because it's like 90 degrees where I am, and the air AC is acting a fool here in my place, so you know, I may have to turn on my fans. So if it gets too hot, then you're just gonna have to deal with the sound of a fan in the background. But for now, I'm fine. It's not as hot in here like that at all, so good on that. Good for me, right? But we're gonna go ahead and get some channeled messages for Cancer, and then get into the reading. And the reading, since I'm back on my regular deal, we'll do start of the week, midweek, end of the week, and go from there. Let's see, what does Cancer need to know right now? Cancer need to know right now. Okay. Cancer, I'm hearing happy, no, what is it? What? Happy dance. Okay. Yeah, some of you could be, you know, going into this week, maybe you had a good weekend, and you know, you're going back into the week feeling good. You know, you did look, I don't know what happened this weekend for some of y'all, but it's shaping your week, and you're excited, you're feeling good. Yeah, okay, you're going into the week feeling pretty good, so you know, yeah, I'm getting happiness, contentment. So yeah, some of you, yeah, well, I'll say some of you, but I'm getting this feeling, I am feeling a bit lighter than I did with Taurus's reading. Taurus is kind of, they felt like heavy. It felt heavy with that reading, kind of gloomy a little bit. You know, they were wanting change and all that good stuff. But for Cancers, I feel like you all are kind of in a good mood. I feel lighter, like I said. Of course, I did have to turn my lamp on, but yeah, now the sun is back out and things are brighter. So, but I don't, mood-wise, I feel lighter. Like, I feel almost a bit giddy in a way. So yeah, that could be, for a lot of you, you could be feeling, you know, pretty good. Like, things are on the up and up for you. You know, just kind of like you're ready to see what the week will bring you. You're looking forward to it. Don't Stop My Shine. Isn't that a song? I don't know. I feel like it's a rap song, but I'm not sure about who. But I'm getting I'm seeing that Don't Stop My Shine or I Won't Stop My Shine. So yeah, even if things are not so good, you're not allowing it to bring you down. You're just kind of, you know, going with the motion as far as like letting it, you know, letting it fall by the wayside in a way, like kind of just letting it pass, letting it go. Yeah, you're not allowing anything to stop you or take you off your, you know, take you off your square. Like, you're just kind of like, okay, you know, if this is how it is, then, you know, I'm just going to, let things flow, is what I'm getting. Let's see what else. Yeah, I'm not hearing much else, but I just think that Cancers, you all are in a good headspace this week, or going into this week. You know, you're kind of content, even if things are like, even if you are feeling kind of like things are, you know, iffy in a way, or things are iffy in a way, you're not letting that bother you. You're not letting that get you down. So we're going to go ahead and get into the cards, and we'll see what's going on. Okay. So I already see a card that came out in Taurus's reading. So if y'all have Taurus placements, maybe go check those out, or go check that reading out. Or maybe you could be dealing with a Taurus as well. Let's see what else. You could be dealing with a Scorpio or a Capricorn. And the numbers that could be significant for you all are 8 and 6. All right. So let's go ahead and get into the start of the week. So at the start of the week, you have 8 of Winter is the first card that came out. You have, it says, you have what it takes if only you believe in yourself, thinking that you're powerless when you're not, a lack of self-confidence that keeps you from getting what you want. Okay, so I feel like this is more so like past energy, because I feel like you all, I feel like a large group of you, maybe it could be like maybe 1 or 2 or a handful of you that may feel kind of that's, you know, not so confident energy. You know, maybe you've been kind of questioning yourself, Cancer, because I feel like Cancers, they can kind of have like, and being a Cancer moon, I can definitely relate to this, but you can kind of have that sort of imposter syndrome energy sometimes, where you're questioning every single thing, you know, whether or not you did this right or did something else right or whatever. So some of you could be coming off of that energy from the weekend. Maybe something happened. Maybe you got some kind of encouragement that boosted your boosted your self-esteem, and it put you in a better headspace, and that made you feel a bit more content, more at peace within yourself and with whatever situation is going on. Especially, I am drawn to the self-confidence that's in this card here, Eight of Winter. Especially with it coming out with work through your fears. New Moon is Scorpio. That's the Oracle card that came out with Eight of Winter. So yeah, if there are some fears surrounding, like, if you're doing too much, or if you're doing too little, what am I trying to say? If you feel as though, because I'm getting the sense of someone feeling as though they did too much in a certain situation, like, maybe, they said something that, maybe they're not used to being so direct with a person, or maybe you change your style up a bit and you notice that you're being noticed a lot more, and that could ruffle some feathers, because some people are weird like that. But yeah. And or you literally just could be being noticed just because, like, there could be, some people may think, there's a different aura about you, have a different aura about you. Maybe there's something that you did or said that puts you on the radar for something. And yeah. Some of you, maybe you could have felt powerless in a certain situation, but again, something happened, something clicked over the weekend, and now you're going into this new week more confident than you were, and better able to face your fears, if any. And you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna move forward. Like, I'm not going to allow anything to stop me or stop my shine or anything like that. So, yeah, okay. Good on you, Cancer. Okay, so midweek we have Prince of Autumn, and this is dependable, protective, chivalrous, humorous. Okay, so this card says cautious but wise action, meticulous attention to detail, kindness to others. That's the card there. It's backwards, of course, but yeah, that's the card there. Let me put it up a little bit. You can see the fairy getting ready to look like it's getting ready to swing that staff that it has. Some of you, and it's funny, in this card the fairy has actually swung its staff. Interesting. Anyway, and I just noticed you have two winter cards out here, so yeah. Yeah, you may want to go check out Taurus's reading, because stuff about traveling and relocating came out of there, out in that reading. So if you have those placements, or you're dealing with a Taurus, maybe go watch that video. But anyway, back to Prince of Autumn. I feel like a lot of you, if you are kind of cautious right now about actions that you want to take, go ahead and like I said, or like I usually say, if you're trying to make a plan to do something, go ahead and do it. Don't let it don't procrastinate, is what I'm hearing. Don't procrastinate, especially with hold your vision. Like, you want to get clarity, or be clear on what it is that you're trying to do. So, that also could go back here to, like, the fears, fears around surrounding change. Yeah, so, and of course with meticulous attention to detail. Yeah. yeah, hold your vision. I think this is really for like midweek. You're being asked to get clear on your vision, right? And with this blue moon, it's a good time to revisit, release those things of that nature, even though I don't think we're in a Mercury retrograde either or right now. But with this blue moon, because it's like a, it's a second occurrence, a rare occurrence, this is like one of those things where you have the opportunity to go back and try again, go back and revisit things, hash out things, um, go back and look over your plans, and make sure, you work out the kinks if there are any, and, you can go from there. Again, that's that meticulous attention to detail. So, and you have Capricorn out here, and Capricorns, I feel like, much like Virgos, they pay attention to the details of things. So, yeah, that could be, something significant there. Maybe you're learning from or taking advice from, inspiration from a Capricorn or Scorpio. So yeah, definitely, like I said, hold the vision, which is this card right here. I love this card. It's so pretty. I love the colors. Very blue. Yeah, but I feel like that's really all there is to it with this. As far as I'm concerned, just pay attention to what it is you're trying to do. There could be someone that's very protective over you, or you them, and because this literally could be reversed, where you are the one that's pouring into someone else, encouraging them, telling them to release their fear or work through their fears rather, and hold their vision. Trying to tell them or make them see that, and instead of like focusing on what scares them, maybe focus on what or what empowers them. And again, that could be advice for you personally as well. Like maybe instead of having fears or being focused on the fears of things or what you have a fear over, focus on what it is that you do have power over. Focus on what it is that you want to accomplish, and have confidence in yourself that you can accomplish those things that you worry about. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. And on I usually have something in the background, but I of course turn it down because I don't want any copyright for the music. But on the character shirt, a t-shirt, it says peace is luxury, and I just now noticed this. So yeah. And the reason why I bring that up is because when you do hold your vision, when you do have a clear sense of who you are, but also what it is that you're trying to do, it brings you a sense of peace like none other. Like literally, like there was a point, I'll say last year, there was a point where I felt really, really lost, trying to figure out where I wanted to go from there, or here rather. But I did what I do best, which is make a plan. Very Capricorn Mars for me, and Libra mixed into one, of course. But yeah, my Capricorn is in Mars, and I mentioned it because you have Capricorn out here, and I mentioned earlier, it's like an attention to detail type thing. That's what Earth signs do. So all that to say, once I sat down, really took time to figure out what my desires were, what it is that I wanted, because I was going through a heavy transition. My life now is extremely different than what it was that year, up and prior to that year, 2025. So 2020, from 2023 to 2025 was extremely, I went through a roller coaster of shifts, and to get here to now, and my life is completely different. Like, I never would have thought that I would be back here, you know. But all that, like I keep saying, I keep kind of going off on a tangent. I'm not trying to be too preachy, but I'm saying all this to say, you know, when you have that, when you have things figured out, you take that time, you know, quiet time to yourself, you know, not around anyone else, nothing to distract you, and you get clear about what it is that you want. You, it's like the universe or God or whatever you believe in will actively work to bring about that peace for you, that peace of mind, that piece of space, whatever, you know, it will literally happen for you. And so I feel like me seeing that on my screen, holding your vision, I just feel like you know, Cancers, if this is what you're going through, if this resonates, take the time out to, especially during this blue moon, and figure out what it is that you truly desire, like what it is that you really, really want, and go from there. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and move on before I continue to be preachy on this Sunday. uh, but no, you know, when I feel something strongly, I'm gonna say it. But anyway, so Six of Winter. At the end of the week, this is the last card you have come out, besides the Oracle. And it says positive changes are on their way. A welcome relief from troubled times, traveling, or relocating. That right there. So again, similar to the message that came out in Taurus's reading, if you feel the need that you need to move away, relocate, have a change of scenery, and it could, you know, you don't necessarily even have to be moving cross country, out of abroad. You know, you literally could be just moving down the street from where you live currently, you know. But it's all about that change of scenery. It's all about doing things differently. So, but it's an emphasis on traveling and relocating. So if travel is a thing where, you know, it changes your whole perspective on certain things, then go ahead and go after that. You know, if there's a trip that you've been wanting to book for forever, do that. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, find you, if you know budget is a concern or a fear of yours, then, you know, taking the time out to sit down and work through it, and you know, figure out what's something that you can go without that week or those couple of weeks or month, just so you can, you know, have a trip that changes you, like that. It's like a much needed trip, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, like don't procrastinate. Like I'm really getting that, I'm hearing that word strongly. It's not out here, but that word procrastinate is coming out strongly. So, you know, don't hesitate. You know, don't hold yourself back. You know what I mean? Do what it is that you feel strongly called to do. Okay? And so your hard work is paying off. This is New Moon in Capricorn. And that came out with the Six of Winter, I'm sorry. So, with that card, or with this card, your hard work is going to pay off. Like your diligence, your ability to figure out what it is that you want, and be, you know, and stand firm on it, is what gets you, you know, your success, will get you your positive changes that you've been craving, that you've been wanting. So, you know, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind when you do sit down, especially if it's something that you all need to figure out. When you sit down and you think about it, you know, instead of focusing on the fears of what ifs, you know, think about what could go right instead of what could go wrong. Think about what's going right for you, and you go from there. You know, a lot of times when people are concerned, like with finances or anything else, a lot of times it's something where, you know, if you just sat down and really went through everything and see the things that you could cut costs on, yeah, you'll find out that, yeah, I actually can take this trip. I actually can go do whatever it is I'm trying to do. You know, and all it took for me was to actually move some stuff around, cut some of this stuff out, and do it. And just do it. So all that to say, let's wrap up your reading. Cancers, your affirmation is, I have self-discipline. Again, that is, I have self-discipline. This is the same affirmation that came out for Taurus. So again, if you are called to look at Taurus's reading, definitely go do that, because it's self-discipline as well as traveling and relocating are major themes in Taurus's reading this week. So yeah. All right. So all in all, I feel like for the most part, Cancers are in a good place, a good headspace. They're very content. They're happy. They're not allowing anybody to, dim their lights. They're shining on them. Continue to do so. If for whatever reason some of you have fears, work through them, process through them, focus more on what is going right for you, or what could go right instead of what could go wrong. All right. And don't procrastinate. Can't reiterate that enough. Don't procrastinate. Positive changes are coming. And be on the lookout. You're good. You're good. Okay. All right. So have a good week, Cancers, and I will see you next time.